What's going on, guys? Time for some more Minnesota Vikings franchise. We're getting into one of the most anticipated episodes that I put out, which is the offseason. We see all the retirements, free agency, and the NFL draft. Everybody loves the offseason. So first things first, we are going to look at our roster and check out how guys have progressed in their ratings or have regressed. Christian Ponder up to an 86 overall, and hopefully he continues to improve. Adrian Peterson, 99 overall. The man is just a monster. Looking at receiver, we see Michael Jenkins down to a 65 overall now, and I don't think Burris changed, and I think Aromashadu actually went down, and so Harvin looks like our only decent guy on paper. Kyle Rudolph, probably the biggest gainer in this one, 89 overall, and he has a 96 catch rating. Nate Potter, left tackle, our first round draft pick, up to an 87 overall, exactly what I was hoping he'd be. Steve Hutchinson is down another 2 overall points, and then these other 3 pieces of the line, they're not really doing all that well, and their overalls are showing. Here's what surprised me, though. Brian Robinson didn't even change, and he had a lot of sacks last year. He had a Pro Bowl caliber season. Christian Ballard made it to the Pro Bowl. He's up to a 79 overall. And then Antoine Barnes, I think he went down. Donald Butler pretty much stayed the same in Greenway's a 91. And then we'll look at cornerback. Jamel Fleming, 85 overall, right on line with Antoine Winfield. But defensive back is one of those things I wanted to address in this offseason. At safety, nobody is really standing out, and so that's another issue to concern. Kicker, punter, we're good there. So if you look at the bottom 4 guys on this list right here, those look like our rising stars at the moment. Then we have to sign a new defensive coordinator. We're going to get Kevin Taylor because we get +3 on all-man coverage, and for pursuit, that helps out our linebackers in the running game big time. And then for our training staff, we'll just get some guy that will help our quarterback Christian Ponder stay healthy, and we're going to put a retractable field on the Metrodome. I haven't even checked this out yet, so I can't wait to see how this looks, but now it's time to go to retirement, see who is going to be leaving the NFL, and we are losing Antoine Winfield after 14 years, and so that's a big loss, but he did get burned a lot last year. We knew this was coming up eventually. Look around the league, who else retired? We got Andre Goodman from the Broncos. Tony Gonzalez is calling it done. The Buccaneers lose 3 guys on defense. The Cardinals lose Mark Tauscher. Takeo Spikes is done. Cooper Carlisle. Mark Colombo. Clark Haggins and Chad Ochocinco. For the Packers, Charles Woodson, who is likely a future Hall of Famer. Patriots lose Brian Waters and Deion Branch. Joey Porter is going to retire. LaDainian Tomlinson is done. And then we have to look at our free agents, guys with expiring contracts. We have 10 guys here, and we have some decisions to make. So we're going to re-sign Joe Webb to a long-term offer, keep him in Minnesota for 5 more years. Steve Hutchinson, he didn't retire, so we're going to get him a 1-year contract, along with Jim Kleinsasser. I expect these 2 guys to retire very soon. Mark Herzlich, need the linebacker depth, and he's played well in his opportunities. Chris DeGear, we're also going to give him a 1-year deal. Devin Aromashadu, another 1-year deal. Xavier Debe has played extremely well in his opportunities, so I want him to stay in Minnesota. And Noel Devine for another season as well. I'm giving a lot of 1-year contracts here. We're going to have a lot of expiring contracts in Season 4. And yes, I do plan on there being a Season 4. So the guys I have chosen not to re-sign are Sean Jones, Pierre Thomas, Everson Griffin, and Phil Lodeholt. Now, it's time for some more combine scouting. I did a previous video where I showed the entire draft class. If you haven't seen that yet, you should, especially if you're wondering who's in this draft class and where everybody is projected. I show every prospect, every position, and so then we go on to free agent bidding, and I want to look at defensive back and wide receiver in this one. We'll look at the receivers here. We got Steve Smith, Brandon Lloyd, Anquan Bolden, and Emmanuel Sanders. And I look at age and I look at ability. Obviously, I don't want to really re-sign anybody that's in their 30s because they're not going to be around for that much longer. So I look through like the entire list, try to figure out who would be a good fit, and I'm looking for like a number 1 type of receiver or some guy that can play on the outside. I like Percy Percy Harvin, and I put a bid down on Emmanuel Sanders because I know he has speed. He's a burner. I like those type of receivers. I want one of those guys to be on the outside. And then I'm looking at also linebacker because I wasn't completely happy with how it was last season because of injuries to Donald Butler and Garrick Williams. But looking through all the linebackers, the only guy I was really intrigued at was Sean Lee, and I almost slapped a bid on him, but I didn't. And then we go to defensive backs, and with Antoine Winfield retiring, it's something we definitely have to look at. And I'm also looking at safety. I think Tyrell Johnson is our most consistent guy, and I got rid of Sean Jones because he could not seem to get over when guys were going deep. And he also played pretty poorly in the Super Bowl, but after looking through everybody, I go and check my bid on Emmanuel Sanders, and Chicago did outbid me, and then Pittsburgh outbid them. I decided not to slap another bid down on them, and then I looked through the list again. We see Ryan Matthews, he's a free agent. No one's even put a bid on him yet. And at receiver, got Steve Smith going to Denver, Brandon Lloyd going to New England. But a lot of these guys I just thought were too old or didn't have enough potential. So I decided not to bid on any more guys. Then I went to defensive backs, and with most of the top guys taken, I looked back through the list, and I put a bid on D'Angelo Hall. I put him in the secondary. He'll be competing with everybody else. We got a lot of guys that are mid to high 70s with good potential, and we did end up winning D'Angelo Hall. I'm not sure how long he's going to be on this team, but we'll look at now. We got individual workouts. We're just about approaching the NFL draft, and I really intrigued with Justin Blackman because he's a 5th-round prospect, but I did unlock all his stuff, and he's a C potential, and so he's not going to be what most of us are probably thinking he's going to be in the NFL. And then looking at Dante Hightower, just 87 speed, A potential, 90 strength. This guy is a monster. He is the guy I've been wanting since I started looking at this draft class. But now it's time to go into the actual draft. We see Alex Hurst is the first guy drafted. Drake Kirkpatrick, a cornerback, was taken. And we looked through guys I was looking at. Robert Lester was taken. Ray Armstrong was taken. Obviously Kirkpatrick number 3. And we're drafting at, of course, number 32 because we won the Super Bowl. And so a lot of good guys are going to be taken. But I had a lot of guys in mind, so I was just scrolling through here hoping that guys I wanted weren't taken. DJ Fluker was, and then we're getting down there almost ready to make my selection, and Dante Hightower, 3 picks before me, was taken. He was the guy I wanted the most, and we were so close. And so now to make our selection, receivers, nothing really intrigued me right away because they're only 2nd-round prospects at the best. But of course, we're drafting at the bottom of the 1st round. And then just looking through everybody else, no great centers or right guard. I wanted 1st-round talent. I mean, we're in the 1st round, so of course I want 1st-round talent. And just looking through and seeing what I could find. And this was really the only 1st-round talent I found was Rashard Hall, free safety, but I didn't want to address that in the 1st round. And so I went down and I picked Morris Claiborne, a guy who I knew had good ratings and could really help out this team. And then in round 2, we're going to take Vontaze Burfict, the 2nd middle linebacker choice I had. I really wanted to pick Dante Hightower. And then I made a trade. Jared Crick, Chris Cook, and a 7th rounder for Tennessee's 4th. I probably got ripped off on that, but they're 2 guys that really aren't going to play that much. I wanted to see if I could get another pick, get somebody decent out of it. And then we draft Mark Harrison. We need some wide receivers to start doing battle with these guys on our current roster. And then in round 4, I was like, oh, should I take Justin Blackman? And I decided against it. He has C potential. I got to take a chance on somebody else, and I'm going to go outside linebacker Jelani Jenkins from Florida. I want to get some guys with speed, some guys that can stop the run. We had the worst run defense last year. And then we have another 4th-round selection, obviously. We're going to take Jansen Jackson, a free safety out of Tennessee. Need some guy to emerge there and really take over a starting spot. Round 5 now. I wanted to get another receiver in here to help battle with all these guys we have on our roster. I'm going to take Kobe Hamilton, and that would be the last of our selections. And the only thing I was really upset about is that I did not address offensive line at all in the draft, and we still have a really shaky offensive line. So, next year, top priority has to be the right side of that line. But those were our selections. And then I found out how powerful F potential was. Kenyon Barner down to 81 speed, 87 acceleration. I'm sorry, Kenyon. You were great last year, but I'm going to have to cut you. And so, guys, next episode, we're going to get into the preseason. We got our first game against the Green Bay Packers. We're going to check out our rookies and how I drafted. But until then, in case you missed any prior episodes, we have the 2013 draft class preview. And yes, we just had the NFL draft. But if you want to see the entire class and where everybody was projected, then you can click that and check out that video. And on the bottom, if you missed it, Super Bowl against the Indianapolis Colts, one of the best responses on any video I've put out. So check out the videos, and I'll have the preseason coming out soon, and we'll get into Season 3, guys. Thank you for watching. I'll see you all later.